Welcome back to the Piney Woods Homestead, y'all. Took you on a little 360 of the fall garden. Y'all, we love fall gardening because for the most part, it is simpler than spring gardening. We do have pests, but right now we don't, y'all. It's getting cold. Do we have any?
No. Nope.
And what's your favorite looking thing in here so far?
I'm not sure.
Y'all, it all looks great. And I can't take credit for any of it. This is all Lisa's doing. Y'all, she's going to pick a few things today, and we'll bring you along for that. She'll explain what she's picking, what she's going to do to preserve it. Might show you a little portion of that. And we'll see what else we can show you on the homestead today. Y'all, we've had about an inch of rain. It is sloppy wet. There's just not a lot we can get out here and do right now other than deer hunt. And I did that this morning, and I saw something I have always wanted to see and never had an opportunity. It's what's called a piebald. I saw a piebald doe. I thought it was like a nanny goat. Somebody's goat had gotten out somewhere and was running through the woods to start with. And then, not long after it, was probably the largest buck I have ever seen that I saw for all of about 3 seconds. He was chasing her. So, no opportunity to bring some meat home this morning, but hey, there's always this evening. Guys, we're going to get into the video. Thanks for stopping in. Hit the like for us. Subscribe if you hadn't. And if you have,
we appreciate you.
We do.
I'm just going to go through and grab. They're all pretty big, but I'm going to take out the biggest ones. And you can eat the leaves just like collard greens. And I'm going to pull out the ones that don't look the best and give those to the chickens. Though Sampson might like them.
Well, Sampson's going to get some kohlrabi.
He loves it. And this is a great crop that you could succession plant and not have them all ready at one time. But they keep really well in the refrigerator, so I don't even bother with it.
We have succession planted them in the past.
We did in the spring, but it's not one of the things that I worry about succession planting. Squash, yes, but like I said, because these keep, all you have to do is take off all the stems, wrap them in a damp paper towel and put them in a Ziploc bag, and they will keep for weeks in the refrigerator. This one. And I'm gonna pick just enough of these to do some refrigerator pickles with. Matthew loves them. I think he's 8. I mean, they are really good, but I think he's 8. Probably 3 quarts.
I love them.
Just on his own.
I love pickles anyways.
Yeah.
These ain't really pickles. They're pickled.
It's just a refrigerator pickle brine, but instead of cucumbers, I use the kohlrabi.
Man, they're so good. I could eat my weight in them, no kidding, y'all. What else can you do with these things?
We love it for coleslaw. We actually really like it as fries too. Just kind of cut them up like French fries, coat them in a little oil and throw them in the oven, and they taste very similar to French fries. And that's one of the things with kohlrabi is they're a good, not only are they a good cabbage substitute, but they're a good potato substitute. You know, you could put them in soups as a filler to thicken it, stuff like that.
And y'all, we had told you once, here, let me get on the other side of the camera. We had told y'all once that my dad was eating them without any problems to his allergic reaction to cabbage. That was not the case. He just liked it so much he was eating them, and I think it eventually got to him. So if you have an allergy to cabbage, don't trust us when we said, I think a year ago, it might work for you. It may, but it didn't in my dad's case. He just liked it so much he kept eating it until he finally said, I can't eat it no more, and had to break down and tell us when we were getting ready to bring him a tray of kohlrabi starts to put out that he couldn't grow them anymore. Back to Lisa.
Trying to get the absolute biggest ones out of here.
Show them where pests will be on them if you do get them, especially in the spring.
Well, kohlrabi is great because pests really don't get on them as much. About the only thing that I've really dealt with on kohlrabi is slugs and snails.
And those little worms.
Did I have them on these? The cabbage worms?
They'll bore. No. Right here in the bottom of the plant. They'll bore in there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm not sure what kind of worms those were, but we've only had like 1 or 2 of those. Primarily, it's just been slugs.
We'll call it a boring kohlrabi worm.
Yeah. Yeah, but the slug, we haven't had any slugs in this fall garden. Knock on wood, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, no, we haven't. We haven't had any.
No.
Of course, it's been dry up until here recently.
Yeah, it's been very dry, so.
All right, how many of these you gonna pull out today?
I think this is probably enough of them to get several jars of pickles done. And now I'm going to go through and get some more of our Blue Ridge kale. We have 2 beds of it, this here and a bed beside the house. I've already harvested, I think it was either 4 or 5 gallon bags worth from the one beside the house. This hasn't had any harvested from it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and pull more from this and more from the house and get that put up in the freezer.
Is there anything special you got to do to it to freeze it?
The only thing that I do to freeze it is just take the stems out and wash them really good, run them through a salad spinner and pat them dry, and then I flash freeze them on parchment paper before I put them in the Ziploc bags so they don't stick together in one big clump. And that's it, so you don't have to blanch them or anything. And the kale cooks down much quicker than collards, so we don't cook it down.
Like collards.
Yeah.
We don't cook it.
We don't have to cook it. We don't have to pre-cook them to freeze them.
Y'all, the absolute best way that we have found to cook kale is just take it fresh right out of the garden here or out of the freezer once you have put it up like she has. Take you a cast iron pan, sweat you down some onion, some garlic, some bacon fat, bacon grease if you have it, or fry up some bacon and leave that chunk bacon in there. Just chop it up fine. Throw that kale in there, a little salt, a little pepper, a little red chili flake, throw all that in there. Just give it a few good stirs until that kale's wilted and it's ready. You don't have to cook it for a long time, just wilt it down, takes on all those other flavors, and it's an excellent side dish.
And to harvest kale, you don't want to take from up here in the middle. Like, you don't want to take this. You want to harvest from the bottom up, and it'll just keep growing and getting new leaves.
It'll grow all winter long.
Oh yeah, it would grow on through summer, but we don't have the space to just leave it that long. I wish we did, but. And I'm just going through and checking them over now for any little imperfect leaves or anything like that. And I'll give that to the chickens. Which they're waiting on. We have an audience over there.
Oh, they love getting kale, and it keeps speckles off of my leg when I walk in there.
Yeah.
Y'all, back to that piebald deer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is basically, if you know what a paint horse is, liver and white, and it can be different colors, but the one I saw this morning was probably 75% snow white, with the other quarter, 25% being liver, like a brown. And it was just a beautiful deer. Never seen anything like that. I'd have a real hard time plucking one of those out of nature just because it's so pretty. But what we're looking for right now is just a nice healthy buck. And if we don't get one of those by Thanksgiving, if it's big enough, the three of us will be putting some meat in the freezer to go with this kale. Now, what about fertilizing? What have you done to this fall garden, and are you still fertilizing?
All I've used is just a water soluble triple 20. I was doing it every week, and then I went to every 2 weeks, and now I have stopped with everything except I'll give the Brussels one more feeding, but everything else I have stopped with. And I stopped fertilizing once the heads set with the broccoli and the cabbage. With the cabbage, if you continue fertilizing, you risk them splitting from taking up too many nutrients. The kohlrabi really don't need a whole lot, so I only gave them a light fertilization a couple of times. And the kale just really thrives in cold, so you know, I actually haven't gave the kale a whole lot. It's mainly been the heavy brassicas that I have gave the most fertilization to. And the Brussels will still get it because they're still forming their heads. So they're a heavy feeder.
I can tell you this kale has had some chicken litter too, though.
Oh yeah.
Y'all, Lisa wanted me to come up here and show you this kale back here behind the house. It is actually done even better than the kale down in those deeper raised beds. I don't know if it's because they're getting a little bit more sun. Don't really know, but they've actually done this a little bit better. But she came through here probably a week ago and picked 5 gallons worth that she froze. And you know, it's frozen loosely, but it's packed in there pretty good. But you could see through this completely a week ago, and in just a week and a half, it's already filling back in. So it's a really good crop that you can plant and continue to harvest on throughout the winter, depending on your climate. I don't know how cold it can get and still thrive, but down here in I think we're 7B, zone-wise, we can get away with this for the most part all winter long. I would imagine if it got down into the teens for nights in a row, we might have an issue, but so far we do pretty good with it. And that's planting it every winter. Gives us some fresh greens all through the winter, y'all. We don't just eat what we freeze. We go ahead and pick it out of here and eat it too, fresh.
All right, guys. All right. Yeah. Ready?
Y'all, that Speckles is a beautiful rooster, and he is much more tame than Chief, who's living at solo in the big chicken house over here for the winter. Our plan was to hatch some speckled Sussex, but we waited just probably about 2 weeks too late. Those Sussex have stopped laying for this. You might lay 1 or 2 eggs here and there, but they're not putting out enough that we can get an incubator full within about 4 days. That's how we like to do it. 4 days, eggs start not being as viable to incubate. So if you were hoping to get a couple of speckled Sussex off of us in the spring and you're local to us, guys, we're still going to have some. We're going to breed some and hatch them in the spring, but we won't have egg laying ready speckled Sussex at that time.
Hey, girl.
Right, every one of the golden friars are in the hut. They were all out here a while ago.
One of our older girls has laid an egg, so maybe the rest of them are moral support.
Moral support. Or like, hey, girls, let me show you how this is done. Rooster.
Okay, buddy.
We got to get him on there with the ladies. Ain't that right, boy? Y'all, Sampson is sound asleep down there under his bachelor pad.
Sampson, come on.
Come on, boy.
Come on, buddy.
Come on, buddy.
Come on.
What you got? Give it to me. Come on.
Come on, bud. You ready?
Oh, he's gonna hit that fence. Oh, no.
And y'all, I will have Matthew put in the description below the recipe that I use for my refrigerator pickles. It's his favorite, with his favorite brine, with whether it's cucumbers or kohlrabi, and so I'll have him put it in there in case y'all want to try it.
Show him your hands.
I said that today was not a good harvest day because of the inch of rain that we got yesterday, but
Sampson says it was a great harvest day.
And he's already.
Hopefully it'll dry out a little bit before we bring Dixie over here, or that will be a challenging mission for him. He needs some good sure footing.
Well, he shouldn't have went and rooted up and made some new slick spots.
Yeah.
But
He'll be all right.
yeah.
Y'all, we're gonna end it right there for the day here at the Piney Woods Homestead while Sampson enjoys his
Kohlrabi leaves.
kohlrabi, some kale.
Yeah. No, he didn't get any kale.
No.
Don't tell him that. But
No, just kohlrabi. Sorry, buddy. Anyways, he loves eating treats and he loves sleeping, as y'all can tell. That boy sleep all day long. Guys, we hope you enjoy hanging out with us at the Piney Woods. I'm gonna get back in that deer stand here in a few minutes and see if I can't drag out that big buck that I saw this morning. Maybe I'll get lucky. Get some red meat.
yes.
Because we're out of red meat,
out.
y'all. We haven't had red meat now in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And that was the last.
That was the last deer roast.
That was the last deer roast. Yeah. We've been out of ground for
for a
about
while.
a month or more. Yeah.
If we can get 3 down, you know, Kyla, she got the only one last year. She was the only one that was able to hunt. And we finished that thing off. So if we can drag out about 3 of those whitetail, we'll have all the ground red beef
Yeah.
that
And
we
roast.
need for the year. And roast, yeah. Anyways, y'all have a good day, a great week. Sampson says we'll see you on the next one.